Welcome to another session of Business Startup Training. Today we'll be focusing on narcissism and entrepreneurship. This is presented by Accounting Lecturer. So our aim is to get a better understanding of entrepreneurship and narcissism. So our objectives are: who is an entrepreneur? Who is a narcissist? Examples of success for a narcissist. And we're going to look at the question, to be a successful entrepreneur, do you have to be a narcissist? Now let's have a look at who is an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is defined as the activity of setting up a business or businesses, taking on the financial risk in the hope of making a profit. Now, some characteristics of an entrepreneur are: you have passion, motivation, not afraid to take risk, self-belief, hard work, discipline and dedication, adaptable, flexible, product and market knowledge. Who is a narcissist? Now, narcissism and narcissists, we consider it to be a mental disorder, and it is a clinical one as well. So a narcissist is a personality disorder, and it's one of several types of personality disorders. It's a mental condition which people have an inflated sense of their own importance, a deep need for excessive attention and admiration, troubled relationship, and a lack of empathy for others. But behind this mask of extreme confidence lies a fragile self-esteem, which is vulnerable to the slightest criticism. Now, narcissism is divided into two categories. You have the covert narcissist and you have the overt narcissist. Now let's have a look at who is the covert narcissist. A covert narcissist is someone who craves admiration and importance, as well as someone who also has a lack of empathy towards others, but can act in a different way to the overt narcissist. A covert narcissist, or someone who has covert behavioral narcissism, are those who are more subtle. So they're under the radar. You're not able to see them. You're not able to pick it up because they are so slick and covered that you cannot trace them easily. And they are less obvious to others. Now, on the contrary, the overt narcissist is easily identifiable because they tend to be loud, they tend to be arrogant, they tend to be insensitive to the needs of others. They're always thirsty for compliments. So you need to keep complimenting them. Say how good they are. They've been a fantastic boss. They're excellent. Their behavior can be easily observed by others, and they tend to show up as big in a room. So they are very, very big in a room. You know that they exist because that's what a covert, rather an overt narcissist is. A covert is more subtle. They're under the radar. They, don't really speak loudly, but the effect is very, very powerful. But the overt now, it's loud. They get things done. They speak strongly, but they get the point across. Now let's look at some pictures to demonstrate. I do not necessarily want to look at Fortune 500 companies, but in Fortune 500 companies, a lot of the CEOs possess these traits. I'm not necessarily going to name any, but it tends to be rampant in a lot of businesses. Now let's have a look at the first picture. The first picture, we have 4 men carrying solid concrete. And the picture below, we have 3 men carrying the same concrete, but the CEO is standing on top of it. So he's actually making the work hard, less men carrying it, and then he's adding to it by standing on it, so it's even more difficult. So another picture, we look at a CEO having his employees bow to him, or her. It's that kind of a thing. You need to be worshipped. Then we have another picture where the CEO is being carried by employees, and they're kind of, lunging after bonuses and pay, etc., while they're carrying the CEO. Another picture shows the CEO putting his hand in the face of his employee while he reads a report, saying that, I guess you're not important. Whatever you have to say right now, it's not important to me, so I'm more important. What I have to do is more important, so really don't bother me at this time. And then we have another picture that shows a CEO shouting at his employees in such a way that he's big and large above his employees, and he comes down on them with great force. Now, let's look at the covert. So that's the overt narcissist. Let's look at the covert. Now, here we have some words to kind of describe as well as pictures. In the first picture, it says, I'm looking for someone who can get the job done. Do you know anyone? So here, this person is actually, this, manager, CEO is saying in front of a prospective applicant, do you know of anyone who would like a job? So immediately you are saying that the applicant is not fit for the position. You could have said that, but you are actually saying, do you know of anyone? While that applicant is ready and willing to work. A covert narcissists tend to hurt themselves, and now they don't necessarily hurt themselves physically, but their actions tend to hurt themselves, and they will do it consistently, hurting themselves, not realizing that their own actions are kind of setting them up to be hurt. With a covert narcissist, you can see in the picture below that as the manager bends, everyone, all the other employees are bending in the same direction, and they bend to the left, or bend to the left, bend to the right, there, or bend to the right, bend forward, etc. So he's actually subtly getting everybody to do exactly what he wants or she wants. Another picture here says, you've got a problem with bullying in the workplace. Yeah, we don't tolerate that. He's saying that he doesn't tolerate bullying, but yet still he's holding an employee with his hand in his chest. So how can you be saying that you don't tolerate bullying, but you are bullying someone? Another picture demonstrates dice or a kind of chip of effect whereby dominoes are actually falling down. Okay, and this is the impact of a covert narcissist. They just touch one domino, and before you know it, all the other dominoes are on the ground. So the level of damage initially is small, but after a while it becomes catastrophic and big and large. That is the impact of a covert narcissist. They're not obvious, but they're extremely dangerous, and they can cause a lot of pain. Now, there are two authorities on this particular topic. I would say DoctorRamani. She is a professor in Los Angeles, to be specific, she lives around Santa Monica area in California, and she has her PhD in psychology, and is very, very good. And then you have Sam Vaknin. He's an author of a book of Narcissism Revisited. He wrote that in 1999. He was born the 21st of April 1961. These two persons are excellent. If you go to YouTube and you type in both names, you should be able to get some information about narcissism. Now, to be a successful entrepreneur, do you have to be a narcissist? I would say no, you do not have to be a narcissist to be a successful entrepreneur. You just need to be fair and balanced. Do not omit the negatives. Don't take out the negatives. Be objective. Say things as they are. Tell the truth. Be consistent. Always, doing the good all the time. Be driven and disciplined. Don't put down others. You do not need to be manipulative or domineering or controlling. Okay? Allow the workplace to grow naturally and organically. So we've looked at who is an entrepreneur. We've looked at narcissism. We've looked at success for a narcissist. And we've also looked at if you want to be successful in entrepreneurship, do you have to be a narcissist? I would say you do not need to be a narcissist. You can get your business up and running, start your business, have a good startup with healthy relationships with your employee, not being domineering overtly or covertly and driving the business forward in that way, but just being yourself and healthily bringing the business forward to make a profit and excel. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.